Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you're standing in the middle of a forest at sunrise. The air is cool. The trees are still. Then, slowly, the silence begins to break. A chirp, a whistle, a trill. Within minutes, hundreds of birds are singing at once. To you, it sounds beautiful, peaceful, almost like nature's background music. But what if I told you that you're only experiencing a tiny fraction of what's actually happening? What if those simple chirps are carrying messages about territory, family, danger, identity, and survival? What if the bird perched above your head is hearing details so subtle that your brain cannot even process them? The truth is that birds live in an acoustic world far richer than the one humans experience. They hear patterns we overlook. They detect signals we miss. And every day, they use sound in ways that seem almost unbelievable. Today, we're going to discover what birds hear that humans can't. And once you understand it, you'll never listen to birds the same way again. Humans tend to think vision is the most important sense. We trust our eyes. We navigate with our eyes. We build entire technologies around seeing. But for many birds, hearing is just as important, sometimes even more important. A bird's life depends on sound. Sound helps birds find mates. Sound helps them defend territory. Sound helps them identify family members. Sound helps them locate predators before they become visible. In some environments, hearing information a few seconds earlier can mean the difference between life and death. What's surprising is that birds don't necessarily hear dramatically higher frequencies than humans. Their secret isn't simply better ears. Their secret is better listening. Their brains are exceptionally good at analyzing sound. Imagine two musicians hearing the same orchestra. One hears noise. The other hears every instrument separately. Birds are like the expert musician. They can pull incredible amounts of information from sounds that seem simple to us. One of the greatest natural concerts on Earth happens every morning. Scientists call it the dawn chorus. Just before sunrise, birds begin singing. Within minutes, entire forests can erupt with sound. For centuries, people assumed birds simply enjoyed singing in the morning. But researchers discovered something much more fascinating. The dawn chorus is a massive communication network. Each bird is broadcasting information. Some are announcing, "This territory belongs to me." Others are saying, "I'm healthy and looking for a mate." Others are checking in with nearby family members. Some species even time their songs carefully to avoid overlapping with others. Imagine hundreds of radio stations broadcasting simultaneously, without interfering with one another. That is essentially what happens every morning. To human ears, it can sound chaotic. To birds, it's highly organized. Every singer knows exactly where its message belongs. Every listener knows how to find the information it needs. Now let's talk about pitch. Pitch is how high or low a sound appears. Humans can detect pitch differences, but birds often take this ability to another level. Imagine two notes played on a piano. Most people would recognize if they're clearly different, but birds can often distinguish incredibly small variations. Variations so subtle that they sound identical to us. Why does this matter? Because those tiny differences can communicate huge amounts of information. A slight change in pitch might reveal age, strength, physical condition, emotional state, individual identity to us. To birds may sound exactly the same. To another bird, they may sound as different as to human voices. It's similar to how you instantly recognize a friend speaking on the phone. Birds can do the same thing sometimes with astonishing accuracy. Here's where things become even more impressive. Birds process sound extremely quickly. Some bird songs contain rapid-fire sequences of notes that occur in fractions of a second. Humans often hear these sounds as a blur. Birds do not. Researchers have found that many birds can separate and analyze these fast sequences with remarkable precision. Imagine someone speaking so fast that every word blends together. Most humans would struggle. Birds can keep up with similar levels of acoustic complexity. This allows them to pack large amounts of information into very short calls. A song lasting only a few seconds may contain dozens of meaningful signals. It's like compressing an entire conversation into a single sentence. What sounds simple to us may actually be extraordinarily detailed. Now imagine living in a colony containing thousands of birds. Every day, thousands of voices fill the air. How would you find your family? How would parents find their chicks? How would mates locate one another? Remarkably, many birds solve this problem using sound. Some seabirds return to nesting colonies packed with thousands of nearly identical individuals. Yet they can identify their own mate by voice alone. Parents recognize their chicks. Chicks recognize their parents. And they can often do it within seconds. Scientists studying these colonies have observed birds ignoring hundreds of calls before instantly responding to the correct one. To human listeners, the calls often sound almost identical, but birds hear unique acoustic fingerprints hidden within every voice. Each call contains subtle characteristics that reveal exactly who is speaking. In many ways, birds have their own version of voice recognition technology, except they've been using it for millions of years. Birds don't only communicate about territory and family, they also communicate about danger, and their warning systems are incredibly sophisticated. Many species have different alarm calls for different threats. One call may mean predator on the ground, another may mean hawk overhead, another may mean immediate danger. What's even more remarkable is that neighboring birds often understand these warnings. A single alarm call can trigger reactions across multiple species. Within seconds, an entire area can respond. Birds dive into cover, squirrels freeze, other animals become alert, all because of one sound. To humans, it may seem like a quick chirp. To the animals around it, it can mean run, hide, look up, stay still. It's an emergency communication network operating continuously throughout nature. If there is one bird that demonstrates the power of hearing better than any other, it's the owl. Owls hunt in near darkness. Sometimes they catch prey they cannot even see. How? By listening. An owl's ears are positioned asymmetrically on its head. One ear may sit slightly higher than the other. This unusual arrangement allows the owl to determine exactly where a sound is coming from. Even tiny differences in timing help it pinpoint prey. A mouse rustling beneath leaves, a vole moving under snow, a small animal hidden in complete darkness. The owl can often locate it with extraordinary accuracy. Imagine hearing a single leaf move hundreds of feet away and immediately knowing its exact location. That's the level of precision some owls achieve. For them, sound creates a detailed map of the world. Birds aren't just listening for specific sounds. They're listening to everything. The wind, the insects, the movement of branches, the footsteps of predators, the calls of neighboring species. Every sound provides information, and birds constantly analyze that information to make decisions. Should they stay? Should they hide? Should they hunt? Should they fly? Humans often think of nature as silent. In reality, nature is constantly communicating. Birds are among its most skilled listeners. The next time you hear birds singing outside your window, pause for a moment. What sounds like simple background noise is actually a sophisticated communication system. Millions of years in the making. Every chirp, every whistle, every song, every warning call. Each one carries information. Birds hear identities. Birds hear emotions. Birds hear danger. Birds hear opportunities. And while humans can appreciate the beauty of those sounds, birds understand their meaning. The forest isn't just making noise. It's having conversations. Conversations that have been happening long before humans arrived. And conversations that continue every single day above our heads. The amazing part, they're happening right now, all around you.